All right, we can go ahead and get started. If you guys want to take your child's pose whenever you're ready. So you're just going to take your knees out nice and wide, big toes together behind you. Bring your forehead all the way down to your mat. So we're going to take our first few minutes together, just tuning into our breath. You're going to be bringing those inhales all the way down into your belly. Allow your belly to round with that breath. And then on your exhale, you're bringing your belly button as close to your spine as you can. Come all the way to the bottom of your breath so you can start completely fresh on the next. I want you to take just a couple more breaths here. Continue to ground your forehead into your mat, but lift your nose and begin to draw circles with it. So you're just massaging the center of your forehead against the floor. You're going to leave your left arm extended where it is, but I want you to lift your forehead and bring your right arm straight across your chest. Take it palm face up on the floor. You're going to square your shoulders back down to the mat and bring your forehead back down. So you're just applying some pressure or your body weight to the outside of that right shoulder. If you had to lift your hips a little bit to get here, you can just work on sinking them back. And then we're going to open this all the way up. So I want you to continue to walk that right hand through and then just open up your shoulders to the left side of your mat, keeping your left hand where it is. And then again, if you had to lift your hips a little bit to get here, you can sink them back. And we're just walking that right hand as far through as we can. Just coming into a deep twist. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come back to center. You can extend your right arm out long. We're going to do the same on the other side. Bring the left arm straight across the chest, palm face up. Bring your forehead back down and then square your shoulders down to the mat. I'll walk that left hand all the way through. Open up the shoulders to the right side of the mat. And then take your time coming back to center and just pressing up into a tabletop position, moving your knees a little bit closer together, hands about shoulder width apart. We're taking a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So on your exhale, go ahead and round your back, tuck your chin and pelvis under. On your inhale, drop your belly button down, roll your shoulders back, take your chin all the way up. And then just work through a couple rounds at your own pace, exaggerating those motions as much as you can. If you'd like, you can bring a little bit of fluidity into it, maybe a side-to-side movement. Maybe roll out your head a little bit. And then whenever you're ready, you can curl your toes under. We'll meet back in our downward dog. And you can just spend your first few moments there walking it out. So taking turns bending each knee and dropping the opposite heel flat to the floor. We're going to be bringing our breath together. So I'd like you to bring your big toes to touch. You're going to take a big breath in, rise up onto all 10 toes. So you're just shifting your weight forward into your hands. Your ears should be right between your biceps. Big stretch along the bottoms of both of your feet. Take another big breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your heels as close to the mat as you can. We're going to do that 2 more times. Big breath in, rise up. Exhale your heels down. Last time, big breath in, rise up. And exhale your heels to the mat. When you're ready, begin to take tiny steps toward the front of your mat. You're stepping your right foot up behind your right wrist, left foot up behind your left wrist. And we're just coming into our ragdoll, so allowing the body to fold in half, the crown of the head to drop. Any arm variation you'd like with your upper body is good. If you like the traditional option, you can grab opposite triceps and just allow your head to hang light in that frame you're creating with your arms. Good, and release your hands down to the mat if they're not there yet. And I want you to be able to bring your hands all the way to the floor. So if you can't, you're going to take a bend in your knees until you can get them there. And then begin to walk them over to the right side of the mat. So your right hand will come behind the right heel, left hand to the front of the right toes. You're going to drop the crown of your head back down so you're gazing to the inside of the left knee. And if you had to take a bend in your knees to get here, you might work on just straightening them out a little bit at a time. And lift your head, walk your hands through center. We're coming over to the left. Allow the crown of the head to drop, gaze to the inside of the right knee. And lift your head, bring your hands all the way back to center, and then begin to heel toe your feet together. When you're ready, take your time rounding up, coming all the way into a standing position. You can sweep your hands overhead. We're going to come into a side body stretch. So you're going to take your left wrist in your right hand, and then we're leaning for the right side of the mat. And before we come out of this side body stretch, I want you to just pull that left shoulder back. Just intensify the stretch just a little bit. And then go ahead and come back to center. You can switch your grip to the other wrist. Lean to the left. And then very gently pull the right shoulder back. And back to center. Allow your hands to separate, sweep all the way into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, you're going to plant both hands, step your feet back, and you're going to push, you're going to push straight back to your downward dog. So today we're going to be doing roll-ups for our flow. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of what I want you to be feeling in the roll-up. Obviously, you're going to be sort of treating your body like it's in hundreds of little segments, and you're trying to make each one move individually but flow together like there's a wave coming through your body. But what I want you to focus the most on is pulling your belly button toward your spine. So when you get all the way to your back, it should feel like your belly button is actually touching your spine right before you come into this plank position. I hope that was as smooth sounding as it felt when I was explaining it. So go ahead and push back. And we're going to be starting at our heels. Again, you want each part of your body to move separately, but then all flow together. Like there's a wave starting at your heels, coming all the way to the crown of your head. So go ahead and roll up. You're making it as exaggerated as possible. Pull that belly button in. It should feel like a core workout to hold it there. And we're going to meet all the way back in our plank. From your plank, shift forward onto your tiptoes. Shoulders are coming slightly in front of the wrists. Elbows shoot straight back, lower down. Relax the tops of your feet, back bend of your choice. And then when you're ready, you can curl your toes under. We'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, hop, step, or jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, back to mountain. Exhale, sweep down. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, step your feet back. You're pushing straight back to your downward dog. And then take your time, roll up. Pull that belly button in. It should feel like a core workout to hold it there. Meeting back in our plank. Push back. Roll up. Find your plank. One more time, push back. Exaggerate that motion as much as you can. Roll up. We'll meet back in our plank position. Shift forward slightly. Elbows shoot straight back, lower down. Back bend of your choice. And we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, hop, step, or jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, back to mountain. Exhale, sweep down. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, step your feet back, push straight back. Roll up. Push back. Roll up. Last one, push back. Pull that belly button in, roll up. Find your plank. Lower down. Back bend of your choice. We'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, hop, step, or jump forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, back to mountain. Exhale, sweep down. Inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, plant both hands, step your feet back, push straight back. Roll up. Push back. Roll up. One more time, push back. Roll up. Find your plank position, elbows shoot straight back, nice and slow, lower down. This time you're gonna come all the way down onto your belly, relax the tops of your feet. We're gonna be pressing up into a seal pose or a baby cobra if you can't come all the way to straight arms. You're gonna come to as straight up arms as you can. If you need to, you can walk your hands out in front of you a little bit to modify that back bend. But once you've found the back bend that you're comfortable with, I want you to press up out of the shoulders. So you're drawing your shoulders down and back. They shouldn't be up here by your ears. So try to make your body as long as possible here. And then I want you to take your gaze over your right shoulder. So back toward the right pinky toe. Continue to press into your mat, draw those shoulders down and back, come back to center. And we'll do the same over the other shoulder. Taking the gaze back toward the left pinky toe. Come back to center, allow yourself to come all the way down to the mat. Curl your toes under, push up, and we'll meet back in downward. So from your downward dog, when you're ready, go ahead and kick your right foot back. You're gonna bring your right knee to your right elbow. So just shifting forward, finding that three-limbed plank, hold it here. Continue to breathe. Kick it back. Bring your right knee to your left elbow. So you're just dropping that right hip down. Kick it back. Coming back to the right. Hold it here. Continue to breathe. Kick it back. This time you're going to be stepping that right foot straight between your hands. So we're coming into sort of a low lunge pose or a runner's lunge, like we're about to come out of some blocks. Not a lot of weight in your hands here, maybe just your fingertips glued down. You've got your left heel raised up behind you. And then without pushing off with your hands, engage your core, rise up, find your tall crescent. So all 10 toes facing the front of the mat, you've got your left heel raised behind you, and I just want you to try to straighten that left leg as much as you can, and come all the way into that right knee. So pull your belly button in here. We're going to be coming into a tall twist. So I'd like you to bring your hands together at heart center, and we're going to be opening up to the right side of the mat. So take the right hand back, left hand forward. And bring your hands back together at heart center, and we're going to deepen the twist. So hinge forward, plant the left elbow just outside the right knee. Press the palms together, gaze up over the right elbow. You can set this left knee down if you need to for balance. And then we're just slowly reversing. So rise back up, come back to your tall twist. Open your arms out wide, right hand back. Come back to center, hands together at your heart, and then back overhead into your tall crescent. Pull the belly button in, try to straighten that back leg. Release both hands down to the mat, one on either side of the right foot. Kick your right foot back and release. Roll up. Push back. Roll up. Push back. Remember, this should feel like a core workout. Roll up. Work through your flow. And we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick the left foot back. Bring your left knee to your left elbow. Continue to breathe. Kick it back. Left knee, right elbow. Drop the hip. Kick it back. Coming back to the left. Kick it back. This time when you're ready, step that left foot through right between your hands. Find your low lunge. You've still got your fingertips planted here. Right heel raised up behind you. Try to straighten that right leg without pushing off. Rise up. Tall crescent. So sink a little bit deeper. We're going to bring our hands down to heart center, and then we're opening up to the left side of the mat. So left hand will go back, right hand forward, starting in that tall twist. And then hands together at heart center, we're hinging forward. That right elbow will get planted just outside the right knee. Press the palms together, drive yourself a little bit deeper into that twist. And then we're slowly reversing, coming back up to our tall twist. Allow the hands to separate. Bringing the hands back to heart center, coming back to our tall crescent, hands back over your head when you're ready. Sink a little bit deeper. Release both hands down to the mat. Kick your left foot back. Release. Roll up. Pull that belly button in. Push back. Roll up. Push back. Last time, roll up. Work through your flow. And we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick your right foot back. Bring your right knee to your right elbow. Hold it. Kick it back. Right knee, left elbow. Kick it back. And then back to the right. Hold it here. Kick it back. And then step that right foot through. Rise up, tall crescents. So hands directly overhead. Try to extend that left leg all the way out. Press the heel back. And then you're going to be setting that back knee down this time. So I want you to release the left knee down and relax the top of your left foot on the mat. Hands together at heart center. We're opening up to the right. Right hand back, left hand forward. So we're just focusing on the twist here since we don't have to focus on trying to balance or not tip over. You can bring your hands together at heart center. Handy forward, plant that left elbow just outside the right knee. Press the palms of the hands together. Gaze up over the right elbow. And then I'm going to challenge you just a little bit here without coming out of this prayer twist. I want you to curl your left toes under and lift the left knee. So just press the heel back. We're slowly reversing here. Rise up. Tall twist. Hands together at heart center. Tall crescent. So just bringing your hands back overhead. I want you to sink all the way into the right knee. Hold it. Drive the left heel back. Release both hands down to the mat. Kick your right foot back and release. Roll up. Press back. Roll up. Press back. Roll up. Pull that belly button in. Work through your flow. And we'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, kick your left foot back. Left knee, left elbow. Kick it back. Left knee, right elbow. Kick it back. Going back to the left. Continue to breathe. Kick it back. Step that left foot through. Rise up, tall crescent. Sink all the way into that left knee. Bring it directly over the ankle. And then very gently set your right knee down. Relax the top of your right foot. We're going to come into our twist. You can bring your hands together at heart center. We're twisting to the left. So left hand back, right hand forward. We're going to deepen that twist here. Bring your hands together at heart center. You'll plant your right elbow just outside that left knee. So into your prayer twist, drive your hands together. Gaze up over the left elbow. And you're going to hold your twist. Curl your right toes under. Lift the right knee. So just press the heel back. We're slowly reversing here. Rise up, find your tall twist. Hands back together at heart center, tall crescent. You're going to sink just a little bit deeper, drive that right heel back. Sink a little deeper. Release both hands to the mat, kick the left foot back. Release it down. Roll up. Press back. Roll up. Press back. Last one, roll up. Pull that belly button in. Work through your flow. We'll meet back in downward dog. From your downward dog, when you're ready, you're shifting forward. Find your tall plank. And then I want you to bring your right hand to the center of your mat. And we're going to roll open into a right side plank. But I want you to challenge yourself a little bit here. So we're going to try to at least lift that left foot. Just allow it to hover. You got it. Stay with it. Breathe. And then with control, all the way back to your plank. Press back. Give your wrist a little bit of a break. We're going to do the same on the other side. Shift forward, find your plank. Bring your left hand to center. Roll open, left side plank. Once you've found your stability, lift that right foot. Continue to breathe. With control, come all the way back to your plank and press back. Give your wrists a little bit of a break. We're going to do that one more time on each side. When you're ready, shift forward, find your plank. Bring your right hand to center, roll open. Challenge yourself a little bit more, maybe lift that left leg a little bit higher. You could try to bind up here if you'd like. You want to open up. Continue to breathe. Come all the way back to center. Press back. Give your wrists a break. We've got one more on side B. Shift forward, find your plank. Bring your left hand to center. Roll open. Lift that right leg. With control, back to center. And press back. So from here, I just want you to release your knees back down. Big toes together behind you. And just walk your butt back toward your heels. Come back to your child's pose. So just take a moment in your child's pose to roll out your wrists if you need to. I know that's a lot of pressure to be resting on your hands. And take one more big breath here. And then when you're ready, you can lift your forehead, plant your hands, curl your toes under, push back into your downward dog. We're going to come into a couple of hip openers. So when you're ready, you're going to be kicking the right leg back. And you're going to step your right foot up just outside the right pinky, so to the outside of the hands. And we're going to start in our lizard pose, or this low lunge pose. You can release your left knee down, relax the top of your left foot. And we're just focusing on this right hip. So you're going to keep your right toes pointed forward, but you can come down onto your forearms or maybe even roll the right foot out to its side a little bit to allow the hip to fall open. So whatever feels best for you to stretch out just that right hip. We'll be here for just a couple of breaths. So we're going to be moving into our half pigeon pose. If you like to kick back to sort of walk out that hip a little bit, you may. Otherwise, you can just bring that right foot across your mat. So just walk it over to the left side of the mat. Ideally here, you're making your right shin bone as parallel to the front of your mat as you can with your right toes flexed forward. That is a very intense stretch. So if you need to modify, start first by taking the flex out of the foot. And then if you need to further modify, you're going to walk that right foot down in towards your groin if you need to. So find a leg variation you're comfortable with here. But once you've found it, I want you to make sure that your hips are square to the floor here. So naturally, we get a little lazy in this pose and we allow this right hip to sag down to the floor. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the hips up, square to the floor, and then walk that left foot back as far as we can. So we're creating lots of tension along the left hip flexor. And you should also feel the stretch along the back of your right leg, your glute, and maybe into your lower back if you've got a tight lower back. You can stay tall or you can drop down onto your forearms, whatever's most comfortable for you. As long as you're feeling that tension, but no pain, no discomfort, especially in your knees. And as with every pose, if you start to feel that it's becoming a little more painful than it is just a lot of tension, I want you to just come out of this pose or find a different one. So if you haven't done so yet, I want you to try to walk that left knee back just a little bit further. So you can curl your toes under and then just walk the knee back before you relax the top of the left foot back onto the mat. And feel that pressure or the tension intensify on the back of the right leg. So if you drop down onto your forearms, I want you to take your 10 coming back up to tall arms. And before we move on, we're just going to come into a twist. So we're going to be planting our right hand at center, and you're going to reach back and open up the chest with that left hand. So you have a couple of options here. You can stay just tall like this, or you can try a mermaid pose, which is a bind between that left hand and the left foot. Just going to take a couple more breaths here. If you happen to bind up, just be very gentle as you release that left foot. So just don't allow it to slingshot back to the floor. Move it with a purpose. Go ahead and come all the way back to center, and then find your way into your tabletop position. We're just going to allow the hips to sway from side to side. So just release the tension from that right hip that we just created. And then when you're ready, you can curl your toes under. We're meeting back in our downward dog. We'll do that same hip series on the left side. So from your downward dog, when you're ready, kick the left foot back. And then step your left foot up just outside the left pinky. Find that low lunge. So you can release your right knee down, relax the top of your right foot. Remember, we're bringing the focus just to the hip, this left hip. So you can maybe roll your left foot out to its side. You can drop down to your forearms. Whatever you have to do to get a stretch on that left side, regardless of what you did for side A, it does not matter. Take one more big breath here. And then we'll be moving into our half pigeon on side B. So if you like to press back in between, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just walk that left foot over to the right side of the mat, making your left shin bone as parallel to the front of the mat as you can with foot flexed. Feel free to modify that if you need to. Keep your hips square to the floor. We're not allowing that left hip to sag down, so keep it elevated. And then any arm variation you'd like for this side. Again, it does not have to be the same as you chose for side A. If you have not done so yet, I'd like you to walk the right leg back just a little bit further. So curl the toes under, walk the right knee back just a little bit further, and then relax your foot back on the mat. So you should just feel the stretch along the back of the left leg intensify just a little bit. So you can take your time coming back up to tall arms. We're going to be taking that twist before we move on. So this time you'll plant your left hand at center. You're reaching back with the right hand. Maybe allow yourself to bind up. Or just keep looking back over that right shoulder, whichever you prefer. If you came into that bind, just be careful as you release your right foot back down. You're going to bring your hands back to the mat in front of you, and then you'll just press forward into a tabletop position. Allow your hips to sway from side to side. We're going to do just a little bit of core here before we move onto our mat for our final relaxation. So you're just going to be coming to a neutral spine here, nice flat back. And then I sort of want you to try to tuck your tailbone under just a little bit. It's going to cause you to pull your belly button in towards your spine, and I want you to hold it there. So what I don't want to see is a big sway in your back here. As women, we sort of have that hypermobility in our lower backs, and we want to make sure that we're pulling the belly button in and keep it engaged. You're going to take your right hand out in front of you like you're shaking somebody's hands, straight out the front door. And we're going to do the exact same with the left leg. All the while sort of keeping the tailbone tucked under. Pull that belly button toward the spine. You're staying active through your core here. And then I want you to bring your right hand out to the right side, left foot out to the left side. Still keeping them at that same height. Go ahead and come back to center. Breathe. Take them back out to the sides. Back to center. One more time, out to the sides. Hold it. Go back to center. And release. So give yourself just a little bit of a break. Check back in with your lower back. Tuck your tailbone under. Pull the belly button toward your spine. We're going to do the same on the other side. Try to hold that neutral spine the entire time. Left hand out to the front door. Right leg back. Taking your legs out to the sides. Back to center. Out to the sides. Back to center. One more time, out to the sides. Back to center. And release. And then I just want you to cross your legs underneath you, come down onto your butt, and then you're going to come all the way to your back. We're going to take one final twist before we move into our Shavasana. So go ahead and lay all the way back. And then you're just going to be bringing the soles of your feet to your mat. You're crossing your right leg all the way over the left. Hands will drop out into a T. And then you're going to allow your legs to fall to the left side of the mat and take your gaze over your right fingertips. So just a thoracic spine twist. We're working on pressing that right shoulder down into the mat, so try not to allow it to lift. Then come back to center. Allow your legs to uncross or recross them the other direction. This time your legs will fall to the right, your gaze to the left. So just Come into that big twist. And take your time coming back to center, then crossing your legs, and then just extending them out long, coming flat to your back, or any other pose that you can relax and close your eyes. We're taking our last few minutes together, just tuning back into that same deep breath that we found at the beginning of our practice. So really focusing on bringing the inhales all the way down into your belly, and your belly should round with the inhale. So instead of sucking your belly in and allowing the ribs to lift, all that breath is coming down into the belly. So that with the exception of the movement of that breath into your belly, I want you to try to bring everything else to stillness. So find a position that you can just remain as still as possible. And just focus on your breath. Try to relax the muscles of your face. You bring in the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Try not to allow yourself to fidget. So you can begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, take your legs out long, point your toes toward the front of the mat. You can reach your hands overhead for the wall behind you. Give yourself one last big full body stretch. And then when you're ready, take your time, rolling off to your side, maybe pausing there briefly before pushing up into a seated position. Allow your eyes to close, your hands to come together at heart center. We're going to close our practice with 3 big breaths together. So go ahead and take a big breath in. Let it out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in, sweep your thumbs to your third eye. Breathe out as you bow forward. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Let me unmute you. Let's see.